Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to you, hopefully elect. It's your brother Yahweh Call from the Great Millstone, Orlando Cap. And I wanted to do a real quick, because the Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I was able to go out yesterday evening and get another street ministry up. And one of the things that I was touching on through the Spirit, going into the fact that when it comes to America and its destruction, because as I was mentioning in the street ministry, the fact that Yahweh Bashem Shah is going to make a statement with America's judgment, and I'm gonna go ahead and start off here in Revelation 18, going into the destruction of America. All right, Babylon, aka Syria, aka Egypt, Nineveh. All right, but primarily Babylon, the virgin daughter Babylon, or Babylon the Great. Again, America, talking about America overall. So with that, I'm going to start off here in Revelation 18. I'm going to start off in verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. All right, because again, as I was touching on, with America's destruction, it's going to be publicized. Everyone is going to, because, even when all hell is breaking loose, all right, you're still going to have certain places that are intact for the most part. Certain places are still going to have internet or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, when it comes to America's destruction, everyone's going to see it. This is going to be a worldwide thing. And like the Apostle Gabar broke this down through the Spirit, in reference to 9/11, right? When 9/11 took place, that was an event that some say the day that the earth stood still. Because pretty much when 9/11 took place, that was a day that pretty much all eyes were on that particular event of 9/11, So when America is being destroyed by these ICBM missiles, all right, which we are currently seeing as we speak. This is these things are taking place. Prophecy is taking place. The Lord is moving all the chess pieces, moving everything into place. All right, and I'm just talking about as far as the nuclear destruction to come. Because through the Spirit of the Lord, we're inching closer and closer to World War III. But of course, we know that certain things have to play out, certain prophecies have to play out. But nevertheless, that pressure is being built. All right, and eventually the pipes are going to burst. Eventually this thing is going to happen. As far as the nuclear destruction, all of America's allies are going to turn against her. All right. And everyone is going to shoot, all these nations are going to shoot their missiles on America. So again, this is going to be an event that everyone's going to witness. Everyone's going to see. Like I said again in verse 9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, because no one's going to be able to make any more money off of America, off of Babylon. Right? It says when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So you see, everyone's going to witness the destruction of America, Babylon. Because again, the Lord is going to make a statement with America, with America's judgment. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So you see, like I said, the Lord's going to shut this bitch down, you know, and even more so with that thermonuclear fire. But the point being that this is going to be televised, right? I'm going to jump down to verse 15. It says, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off. So it keeps mentioning the fact that, you know, these kings or these other nations standing afar off, witnessing this destruction. You see, why is that? Because, well, this goes back to the law. When you go to the law in Deuteronomy, because as we know, matter of fact, let's go to it real quick. Revelation 17. Revelation 17. Let's start at verse 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying, Come unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And you can read on down, but that's just the point there. Just the point that I wanted to make, dealing with this whore, you know, this harlot. All right, because again, this goes back to the law, dealing with the law of a harlot, right? Deuteronomy 22. And I'm going to start at verse 13. Yeah, Deuteronomy 22 and 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hateth her. And lo, he have given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid. And yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him. Could you see? You know, everything ought to be done in decency and in order. You know, if a man takes a woman, all right, you know, and deals with her, he lays with her, then hey, that's his wife. You know, you can't put her off just because you feel some type of way, you know, you got bored of her or whatever. No, you know, if you take a woman, if you go in unto a woman, that's your wife, and she ought to be your wife. You know, especially if, you know, dealing with a virgin, right? You know, because typically in the ancient world, you know, what they would say, you know, get her, as far as a woman that loses her virginity, you know, the same would be something along the lines of getting her cherry popped, right? You know, and typically in the ancient world, you would have that cloth to basically show proof that, hey, that act has been done. All right. You know, and like you read on here, you know, that cloth would be brought to the elders of the city to show proof, you know, that the act has been done, you know, so on and so forth. Right. Because, again, everything ought to be done in decency and in order. So just because you're tired of a woman or whatever the case may be, and you just don't want to deal with her anymore, no, you got to deal with her. You know, that's your wife. But in certain situations, if a man's dealing with a woman, you know, let's say she steps out, she commits adultery, you know, well, reading on verse 19. Yeah, verse 19. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. So, like I said, just because, you're bored or, something silly like that, no, you still got to deal with that woman. All right. Verse 20, it says, but if this thing be true, and the tokens was slocky, because, in this particular, well, again, going back to the law, making certain accusations that your woman, stepped out on you, committed adultery. Because, it's one thing that, you're bored, or, you're just not interested, or whatever the case may be. But it's another thing if you're making accusations that your woman has stepped out on you, then, you would deal with it as I just read in these verses. Like I said, the parents, they had proof, that cloth that they would bring before the elders to show the tokens of her virginity, right? But in verse 21, it says, then they shall bring out the damsel. Matter of fact, verse 20. But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. So you see, that's the point. All right, that's the point. If it comes out, the accusations come out, turn out to be true, that this woman was in fact sleeping around, committing adultery, cheating, all right, then she would be stoned with stones publicly. All right. If it came out to be true that she played the whore, the harlot, then she will be publicly stoned. You see, when you go to this, the stones, just through the spirit, is rather interesting. Because like I said, the fact that America is going to be, so to say, hit with those missiles, or like you read in Revelation 18, that the great millstone, right? Which ultimately, Yahweh Shai is coming back. But when Yahweh Shai comes back, it will be a simultaneous event, So as Yahweh Shai comes back, those missiles are going to be hitting America, and just find it rather interesting, because again, this goes back to the law, right? When you go into the stones here in the blue letter, just read some of these definitions. It says, like you see here, the stones of fire, or stones containing metal, tool for work or weapon. You see, the plummet, the stones of destruction, also made of metal. You see, so that's pretty much the point. Like I said here, the stones of fire. And it's spiritual. It's spiritual, because this is the law, dealing with a whore. Dealing with a whore, man. She is to be stoned publicly. And like I said here, the stones of fire. Well, America is that whore, like I read in Revelation 17. All right, that whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right. Well, reading Revelation 17, 18, 19, going into the destruction of Babylon, this great whore. All right. And she's going to be publicly stoned, going back to the law. Because like you read it, going back to Revelation 18, everyone's going to see this. Everyone's going to witness, because that's the law. That is the law, Going back to Revelation 18, when it mentioned Revelation 18:9 again. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So going back to those stones of fire, back in Deuteronomy 22, one of the definitions of of stoning a whore, being stoned, is those stones of fire. That's that smoke of the smoke of her burning. You know, Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. So that's the point, all right? Standing afar off. Everyone is going to see Babylon get judged, because that's the law. America's going to be publicly stoned with stones of fire. And that's the law for a whore, which again, Babylon is this whore, this great whore. So just through the spirit, like I said, because going out there yesterday evening, had some distractions. I touched on it, but there were some distractions while I was doing the street ministry, so I didn't really get into it. But just through the spirit, Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Shalom to you, hopefully let.